Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple One. I want to talk about life without travel. Life without the ability to get on mass transit, your car, any type of travel that requires gasoline, computer-driven parts. Let's just say EMP takes all that out. Are you located right now, if an EMP went off and you had not the ability to travel long distances? Are you where you want to be? Are you at a place where you could survive? You might say, no, but I have a bug out location 100 miles away. That's great. But if all your supplies are in your suburban house, you're only going to be able to take a wheelbarrow load, a wagon load, a stroller load, or backpack load. So if all your gear is in the suburban area, guess what? You're stuck in the suburban area. Now, if your supplies are pre-positioned at your bug out location, then you're good. You can grab a bug out bag or get home bag and get out of town and get to your location, and hopefully you'll arrive there and all your supplies are safe and no one's stolen anything or looted or taken over your bug out location. But I want to talk about something more than that. After an EMP where the world is chaotic and we don't have the vehicles, how are you going to travel? And how far is our life going to be projected out? Is it going to be a few miles? 5 miles? You might say, I got friends 20, 30 miles away. Are you going to be able to go visit them and an EMP goes off? Probably not right away. There'll be so much chaos. And if you lose your communication means, be it by ham radios, CB, whatever you were planning on using to talk to them, you might never, ever see them again. Are you going to risk walking 20, 30 miles to their house and having to walk 20, 30 miles back? I mean, it's possible. That's not that far. The average human that's somewhat fit can walk 20 miles a day on pretty much level ground. Not going over hills and mountains. 20 miles. So technically, there's no problem to walk in a day. You could walk and get to their house in the evening and visit with them, sleep there, and then walk back. But is the security going to be there where you could do that? Or are you going to be afraid, hey, if I leave my place and leave my family to go check on my buddy's family, my wife will have to watch everything, or my grandparents or somebody's going to have to keep the home front down. Is it secure enough where I can leave? What is our life going to be like? Traveling distance. Maybe our bubble is going to shrink to 5, 10 miles around our location. That's it. That's our life from now on after an EMP. If you don't have horses, horses were big in the older days when they didn't have cars. A lot of people didn't have horses though. A lot of people just walked. If you didn't have a horse, it was walking. You might have had a canoe. Maybe you lived on a creek or river. You could travel that way, but paddling upstream and the rivers are flowing good, it's very difficult to do. Yeah, going down is easy. So the question is, what is our life going to be like travel-wise? What is our impact area going to be? Are we going to be able to have relationships with people 5 and maybe 10 miles out at the most and be able to deal with them? So you need to be at the location you would like to survive an EMP. If you're not, your supplies better be at that location so you can just go from point A, get to point B, and then you can begin. But if you're stuck in the suburbs saying, I can't survive here, EMP, I'll have to go somewhere. How are you going to go? Unless you have an EMP-proof vehicle. And that is going to be very risky. If you do have an EMP-proof vehicle, I would use it immediately. Get out of town. That hour you know EMP went off, you need to be moving, because people are going to be shocked. People are going to be like, what in the world just happened? People are going to think, oh, they're going to fix this in a day or 2 or 3. So you have to take that critical period of time when there'll be very less violence and get out of town quickly. If you only have one vehicle, you only can carry a limited amount of supply, especially if you have a family of 3 or 4 or 5 people, plus you got to get in a vehicle, plus bring in all your supplies. It's going to be very difficult. But my question is, I'm at my location all the time. I don't do a lot of traveling. So what is my life going to be like? How far am I going to be able to reach out and communicate and to touch other people's lives? Even the trade, eventually, when trade becomes the only way to go. Think about that. We take for granted our cars. We take for granted planes, trains, buses. We can go anywhere in the United States very quickly. We can be from the East Coast to the West Coast. In the 1700s, that wasn't the case. A lot of people, even in the Middle Ages, they grew up and probably never traveled just a few miles unless they went on a crusade or they fought in a war. They probably stayed very close to their house. So think about that. Our life is going to change. It's going to be about what? It's going to be about neighbors. The people that you don't want to meet because you have to commit to them. You have to put a lot of time in developing a relationship. You'd rather be on Facebook developing 1,000 friends that if you called them and you needed $100, maybe one of them would give you $100. That's why you need to develop relationships. Your friends right around you, your neighbors right around you. That's what's going to matter. Someone, especially if you could holler and ask for help from your neighbor, ring a bell, they can hear it, shoot a gun 3 times. That's who you have to spend your time building a relationship with. The people right around you. Because an EMP event or any type of event that's going to cause mass panic, mass craziness, it's going to be risky to venture outside. Because remember, you get on the road and you're traveling down the road, that's the exact opposite of how you want to travel. You want to travel the roughest possible way, because that way you'll probably won't encounter anyone. When the pathway is easy and quick, and you're saying, "Oh, this is easy walking, man. We're on the road." You're probably doing it wrong, because that's the place where you can get ambushed. That's the place where people can see you coming and prey upon you. So think about it. What do you think is going to happen? EMP. How far are you going to be able to venture out? You're going to be able to venture out a couple miles and deal with people. Maybe a year from after an EMP, you can go further. But still, there won't be 911 to call. So if you leave your wife and kids at the house, there's no 911 to call if someone comes to steal your sheep or goat, a chicken, steal your food, steal your supplies. You're going to have to be close by, because that fear of going far away, not knowing what's going to happen to your loved ones, is going to be heavy on your heart. I mean, you're not going to want to travel anywhere. If you take the whole family with you, then you risk them on the road, them traveling, being able to be preyed upon, and then who's really watching your stuff? Neighbor might say, "Oh, I'll look after it." He might look after it. He might break into it, steal it, and say, "I don't know what happened, man. I heard somebody. I came over here. They were gone." A lot of questions. Be where you want to survive a worst case event right now, and you'll be better off. Thanks for watching.